The woman I loved for decades seized my family's assets and lived happily with her first love in my villa. After they conspired to kill me, I was reborn before I married her. She sat across from me, her eyes full of disgust. Duke, I've already contacted someone who wants to invest. Tell your dogs to withdraw their investment. My Linda's family would never rely on your Duke's family to overcome this difficulty, and I would never marry a disgusting lapdog like you. Suddenly awakened, I agreed very readily. Okay. The harsh sunlight suddenly shone in my eyes, making me feel dizzy, as if my ears were covered with something, muffling the sound of the person opposite me. Duke, why did you call me here? I looked at Linda sitting across from me, her eyes full of disgust. Even if Linda's family is in crisis, I would never accept your charity, and I would never like you. Only then did I come to my senses. Could it be that I was reborn? Linda's family ran a small business. While my family was a wealthy and influential clan, my family's property was everywhere in the city. Linda was beautiful, so I fell in love with her at first sight, even to the point where everyone in the circle knew. Everyone called me a love-struck fool and a lapdog, possessing only a handsome appearance. But I didn't care and continued to pursue what I liked. The scene before me felt like a replay of the past. I mechanically said, Linda, I just don't want you to be sad. Linda sneered coldly, you disgust me. With that, she slammed her hand heavily on the table. The sound startled me, pulling back the memories of my death. I was sure I was reborn. The memories from before my death were also reappearing in my mind. Those memories, for me, were like hell. I had always deeply loved Linda, who didn't love me. The person Linda loved was her first love, Julian. Later, the contracting party that Linda's family had partnered with absconded with the money. Linda's family had invested a lot of money in products that could not be delivered, and the cash flow was cut off. If this problem wasn't resolved in time, they would face bankruptcy. So, Linda had no choice but to marry me in order to save her family's fledgling business. I thought she would gradually discover my good qualities, but I was wrong. After we got married, no matter how I tried to please her, she treated me coldly. She bided her time for 10 years, and finally seized my family's assets, killed my parents, and imprisoned me. She openly got together with Julian in front of me and subjected me to all kinds of humiliation. Later, I committed suicide in despair. She and Julian lived comfortably in my villa, enjoying everything that belonged to my family. My life ended in regret. But I never expected that I would be reborn back to 3 months before I married Linda. I stared straight at her. Linda was a little uncomfortable being stared at by me. She picked up her coffee, took a sip, and coldly reminded me, Duke, I've already contacted someone who wants to invest. Tell your dogs to withdraw their investment. My Linda's family would never rely on your Duke's family to overcome this difficulty, and I would never marry you. Hearing this, my love-struck brain finally cleared, and I nodded, okay. She was stunned by my answer, her shocked eyes filled with disbelief and a hint of contempt. I directly made a phone call in front of her. Don't send the money prepared for Linda's family. After hanging up the phone, I stood up and said coldly to Linda, farewell forever. With that, I turned and left without any hesitation. Linda, you didn't expect this, did you? Your lapdog has finally woken up. I'm not going to raise an ungrateful wretch. Whoever likes this fool can have her. The driver was waiting for me behind the coffee shop door. As soon as I got in the car, I saw Linda walking over. The driver, as usual, habitually asked, Miss Linda, where are you going? I'll take you. I looked at Linda's gloomy face, frowning and staring intently at me. It was as if what I had just said to her was just me being petulant. She was waiting for me to soften and humbly apologize to her. I'm sorry. It was my fault just now. Don't be angry. Before I was reborn, I was such a love-struck fool. But now I'm awake and wouldn't foolishly rush to please her. Does the Duke's family pay you? Or Linda's family? I asked angrily. The driver was stunned for a moment, forcing a smile. Of course, it's the Duke's family. Then please remember that my car is not for any Tom, Dick, or Harry to get on. Okay, I remember. After saying that, I closed the car window, and the driver started the car and drove away. Before I was reborn, everyone except my family thought Linda had a bright future. Even if she cheated, they didn't think Linda was wrong, but blamed me for being too possessive and controlling. I saw her in the rearview mirror, standing there for a long time before turning to leave. I remember before I was reborn, I insisted on investing in her. She verbally insisted that she would never accept my charity, but in reality, she said one thing and did another, immediately taking my money to fill the company's hole. It's really laughable. In front of everyone, She acted as if I was pestering her and humiliating her, as if she had suffered a great grievance. But in reality, she was enjoying the money and things I gave her with peace of mind behind my back. But now, Linda's family is facing bankruptcy, the company's crisis, and the unpredictable future. Let's see how she deals with it. Me? I'll just honestly be my rich young master self, with the Duke's family strength, even if I'm a parasite for the rest of my life. Isn't that great? I can't wait to fire all those who pose a potential threat to my family's company. I need to properly remind my dad to be more security conscious. A few days later, with nothing to do, I plan to go to my brother Alex's fashion design studio for afternoon tea. This place is a hub for businesses, with most of the famous big companies in the city gathered here. Alex's studio isn't far from the Duke's family group. As soon as I got out of the car, I heard a familiar voice not far away. "Let Mr. Lee take a look at our company's products, okay? They're really good." The security guard said impatiently, "Mr. Lee is very busy. You can't see him without an appointment. Leave now." So, Linda wanted to talk business with Lee Corporation, but she was kicked out as soon as she stepped through the company's doors. The always arrogant her in front of me also has this embarrassing side? How laughable. I really don't know where she got the courage to be so arrogant in front of me. This shows that I was an incurable fool and love brain before I was reborn. Fortunately, I'm clear-headed now. I was too lazy to look at her and walked towards Alex's studio. As a result, Linda walked up to me, glaring fiercely, and said, "Duke, are you very happy?" I looked at her with a confused expression. I asked in confusion, "What am I happy about?" A hint of disdain flashed in her eyes, and she walked over, giving a cold laugh, looking at me mockingly. "You just want to see me in a mess, forced to beg you, right? Does it make you feel very satisfied and superior?" I listened to her childish words, speechless, and gave her a hard eye roll. Crazy. She thought I was pretending to be angry, and repeated, "Okay, hurry up and make the call." I looked at her even more blankly. "Make what call?" "I know the Duke's family is very familiar with the chairman of Lee Corporation. You came here to show off, right? To show how I can't even get into the door of Lee Corporation. Well, you can solve it with just one phone call." After saying that, she added a few seconds later, "Duke, don't think I don't know what kind of person you are. You just want to push me to the edge and then righteously come to help me." I twitched the corner of my mouth. Was I blind before I was reborn? How could I have fallen for this kind of trash? I laughed and cried, "You're too narcissistic, right? Please see the situation clearly." I looked at her speechless. "Do you think you're a hot commodity? That I'm rushing to give you money? In the end, it's Linda's family's business. What does it have to do with me? Moreover, my family's wealth is countless times more than yours. Why would I want to push you to the brink? Are you kidding me? It's Linda's family who can't get investment. How can you blame that on me? Do you think there are no other women in this world that I, Duke, must marry you? I'm too lazy to talk to you." Linda looked at me without changing her expression, without any self-reflection. "Duke, you rich young masters enjoy the wealth created by generations and have never lived a hard life. So, of course, you can talk so easily. The current Linda's family was built by my dad himself, and you can't imagine how hard my childhood was. So, you always say we're the same kind of people, but we're never the same. Every time you say these things so presumptuously, do you know how disgusting and annoying you are?" I waved my hand. "Okay, since I'm so disgusting and annoying, I'll disappear from your sight immediately." I was about to leave when I saw a man running quickly from a distance. "Duke, you bastard, you're slandering Linda again." He stopped in front of me and threw the coffee in his hand on my face. I was stunned for a full minute before I came back to my senses. I only saw a man in a suit, looking like a respectable person, standing beside Linda, looking at me with hostility. This person is Linda's first love, Julian. I took out a tissue to wipe the coffee off my face. "Duke, you bastard," he scolded. "You're deliberately making things difficult for Linda, just because you want her to be with you, right? How can you be so evil-minded? Linda's family is only temporarily in trouble. After this difficulty, Linda's family will only become stronger and stronger, maybe even surpassing your Duke's family." I could no longer describe the anger in my heart, and looked at him coldly. Linda must have never seen me with such an expression before. A hint of panic flashed in her eyes, and she shielded Julian behind her, deliberately questioning in a tough voice, "Duke, after you deal with me, do you want to deal with Julian?" Seeing someone helping him speak, Julian immediately straightened his back. "Duke, now that Linda's family is facing such a big crisis, if you insist on giving her money, it's not impossible. We can reluctantly accept it, but don't think that Linda will be moved by that and give you another look." I suddenly understood a truth. Why Linda and Julian used to be lovers, because they really are a match made in heaven. What kind of words are these? I silently cursed myself before rebirth. To what extent was I blind to not have discovered their illnesses? I said, Julian, this shirt of mine is very expensive. You better be prepared to pay for it. Julian didn't care. Don't use me to threaten Linda. Julian is really shameless. Use him to threaten Linda? He has some nerve. Anyway, there are security cameras everywhere here, all recording Julian's actions towards me. Seeing that he was about to speak, I took the opportunity to remind him, tell your words to the judge. After saying that, I turned and left. Julian quickly walked in front of me and stopped me. You want to sue me in court? I shrugged. Isn't it obvious? Julian grabbed my shoulders excitedly, his eyes wide with disbelief. Duke, are you going to sue me over a piece of clothing? Isn't that making a mountain out of a molehill? Besides, you humiliated Linda first, so you deserve it. You can't blame anyone else. You like Linda so much. Sending me to court will only make Linda hate you even more. Julian knew that my clothes were something he, earning a monthly salary of $3,000, couldn't afford even if he saved for a year without eating or drinking. So, he was anxious. I looked at my shoulders that he was gripping, rudely shaking him off, and said, Julian, I'm not everyone's favorite. Seeing that he still wanted to speak, I quickly added, I'm not a philanthropist either. I can't just let it go like that. Julian, wait for my summons. Then, under two incredulous expressions, I quickly left. I arrived at Alex's fashion design studio. He saw the coffee on my clothes and widened his eyes in surprise. Duke, did you run into an enemy? I sighed deeply, frowned very unluckily, and asked, Yeah, do you have any clothes? I'll change. Alex took a piece of clothing from the closet and handed it to me. I just designed it. Don't ruin it for me. After I changed my clothes, I saw him sitting on the swivel chair with his arms crossed, asking, Tell me, what happened? According to you, I was splashed with coffee by that mad dog Julian. I frowned and sighed softly. In Alex's eyes, I was still a lovesick fool. Hearing someone related to Linda, he roughly knew what had happened, so he rolled his eyes at me and finally smiled coldly. That must have been Linda's tacit approval. You even wanted me to invest in her on your behalf. That money is just throwing good money after bad. I listened to him scold me silently, not getting angry because I knew he was doing it for my own good. So I nodded in agreement. So I've thought it through now. I want to withdraw the investment. Upon hearing this, Alex widened his eyes in disbelief, looked me up and down several times, and asked back, Are you still the Duke I know? Did I hear you correctly? I looked at him speechlessly. I had been pursuing Linda since freshman year, liked her for 5 years, and did many crazy things for her, becoming a laughing stock in many people's eyes. So, after learning that Linda's family had an accident, I planned to invest in her to help her overcome the difficulties. Afraid that the money wouldn't be enough, I gave the money to Alex and asked him to invest in Linda in his name. My attitude was very firm, and I nodded, Yeah. He scrutinized me with a surprised gaze for a long time and said in a sarcastic tone, Oh my goodness, Mr. Duke can actually figure it out? It's unbelievable. But I hope you really understand. There are so many good women in this world, but you fell for trash. I waved my hand. Don't worry, don't worry. Alex was still a bit unconvinced and urged again. I don't know if you've seen the news, but the son of a wealthy family in the neighboring city was killed by his wife a few days ago. His wife was a gold digger who drained him dry along with her family and eventually killed her husband. You have to be careful. I nodded emphatically. I will always keep it in mind. In fact, Alex had reminded me in my previous life, but at that time, I couldn't listen to anything. I felt that after staying away from Linda, my world had become bright. Many bored young masters and ladies in the rich circle, after discovering the changes between us, turned into gossip mongers. This day was Chloe's 20th birthday, so she invited many young people in the circle to come and support her. Although I don't like this kind of occasion, Duke's family and Chloe's family might have business dealings in the future. My parents taught me not to be too willful, so I came today. But after I arrived, I found that Linda was also there, and the smile on my face instantly disappeared. Chloe, wearing a princess dress, came over to me immediately after seeing me. Duke, I know you like Linda, so I invited her. Are you happy? However, what I received was the gossiping expressions of everyone around me. I knew they all wanted to see me make a fool of myself. I answered very bluntly, Not happy. Everyone's gossip hearts were burning fiercely, and Linda's face also turned ugly. Seeing this, a few people discussed. Did Mr. Duke and Linda quarrel? It's rare. How could they quarrel? Who doesn't know what outrageous things Mr. Duke can do for Linda? I bet 10,000 that Mr. Duke is clinging to Linda too tightly, making Linda unhappy. Mr. Duke will have to humbly apologize later. They didn't care that I was present at all, but I saw a bit of arrogance and anticipation in Linda's eyes, waiting for me to go over and apologize. I don't know who gave her the confidence. Alex was so angry that he was about to curse, but I stopped him in time. He thought my lovesick brain had acted up again, and he was so anxious that he jumped up and down. Duke, have you forgotten what you said a few days ago? I ignored everyone's contempt for me and turned to leave. Seeing me, Chloe quickly asked, Duke, where are you going? You're not running away, are you? I turned around and stared directly at her, saying, not just any Tom, Dick, or Harry can attend the banquet with me. After saying that, I glanced at Linda and turned to leave. I only heard a voice fueling the fire. Duke actually called you a Tom, Dick, or Harry. Your family at least has a business. How dare he humiliate you like that? Linda said coldly. What else can that disgusting man do besides talk a big game? Someone then asked, Ms. Linda, I heard your company is having cash flow problems. Do you need any help? Linda said, no, I've already found an investor. The fund will be in next week, and I'll treat everyone to drinks then. Someone chimed in, next week? Isn't that the day after tomorrow? Congratulations, Ms. Linda. As expected of Ms. Linda, she can solve problems even without Duke. Duke isn't worthy of Ms. Linda at all. These flattering words immediately filled Linda with confidence, making her think she could integrate into this circle. But she did indeed integrate later, before my rebirth. She seized my family's assets, and the entire process was superficially reasonable and legal. Although everyone witnessed her methods, she made it onto the rich list, so they all gave her face. When I heard the last of it, I couldn't help but laugh. Found an investor? Too bad. That investor is me. The next day, Alex and I made plans to go shopping. Unexpectedly, Linda called Alex's work phone. She must have bragged in front of everyone yesterday, and now needed to make sure the investment was secure. Alex waved his phone in front of me, tentatively asking, should I answer it? Suit yourself. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. Alex answered the phone and put on speakerphone. Hello. Who's this? Mr. Alex, hello, this is Linda. Linda's voice was extremely humble. Was this really her? She had always been tough in front of me. Alex suddenly understood. Oh, it's Linda, what's up? Mr. Alex, I'm sorry to bother you. Will the investment funds arrive on Monday? Linda asked cautiously. Well, she was quite polite. Linda, I was just about to tell you, I'm not planning to invest anymore. Alex deliberately made things difficult. The other end of the line was silent for a full half-minute. I could imagine the ugly expression on Linda's face. Linda, Alex called softly. Linda quickly asked, Mr. Alex, why did you suddenly decide not to invest? Is there another reason? Alex didn't want to explain any further to her. Okay, I have something to do. I'm hanging up now. With that, he hung up the phone without hesitation. Alex gave me a smug smile. Feeling better? I hummed in agreement, but the next second, Linda called me. Looking at the name on the phone screen, I had a bad premonition, so I hung up directly. After all, I couldn't let it affect my mood for shopping. After shopping and returning home, I had the driver move my spoils into the villa, and then Linda appeared, Duke. Her gaze was as cold as ever, staring at me for a long time. I frowned impatiently. Get to the point. I didn't expect you to be this kind of person, she said coldly. I looked puzzled. What kind of person am I? She was really funny. The investor withdrew his funding. You just wanted to come and beg you to help me, right? To satisfy your feelings of superiority. Is that right? She looked at me with a gloomy expression, as if struggling with something internal, and finally said, you win. I'm begging you to help me now. Give me the investment. Satisfy your sense of superiority, okay? I was dumbfounded. Who gave her the nerve to say such things? I just treated it as if a mad dog was barking around me, and I had to leave quickly, or I was afraid of getting bitten. Duke, are you feeling guilty? Linda asked, seeing that I wanted to leave. No, Linda, are you sick? I finally couldn't take it anymore. Don't you look down on me and my money? If I raise a dog, even the dog knows how to wag its tail at me. Linda twitched the corners of her mouth. You're calling me a dog? Dogs are so loyal and cute. You are incomparable to a dog. After saying that, I returned to the villa and closed the iron gate. I also added, Ms. Linda, you don't have a clear enough understanding of your position. Linda managed to pull in some investment. However, Julian helped her get it. Julian widened his eyes in disbelief and asked, Linda, you want me to go and entertain that Mrs. Quinn? Linda took his hand. Julian, I know you're the only one who's truly sincere with me. As long as Linda's family gets through this crisis, You'll be a great benefactor to Linda's family, and my mom definitely won't object to us being together. This Mrs. Quinn was a fat, 40-something-year-old woman with a double chin. Asking Julian to entertain Mrs. Quinn was undoubtedly pushing him into a fire pit. I really looked down on Linda. Julian, thinking about being able to get back together with Linda, had sparkling eyes and immediately agreed. Okay, Linda, then your mother will have no reason to stop us from being together. I have to say, Linda, except for me, was quite good at being submissive and adaptable to others. But this sum of money was just a drop in the bucket for Linda's family's company. Before my rebirth, none of this happened because, shamelessly, I saved Linda's family. Now, I go to Alex's place for afternoon tea whenever I have time. He tells me about what's been happening to Linda these past few days. I heard Julian went all out for Linda, and that Mrs. Quinn really took advantage of him. I don't know what kind of mindset Julian has to face Mrs. Quinn with. I smiled coldly. What kind of mindset? The mindset of wanting to be with Linda. That's all. Alex shook his head speechlessly. I used to think you were a love brain, but now I realize Julian has love cancer. Don't mention her. She's just bad luck, a stain on my life. How much I liked her before my rebirth is how much I despise her now. At this time, the front desk staff of the studio walked in. Mr. Alex, there's a Ms. Zhou at the door who wants to see you. Miss Zhou? Alex and I exchanged glances. We could guess who it was with our toes. Alex looked at me with disgust. Mr. Duke, look at the trouble you've caused. Now I have to face that trash. I smiled. We're good brothers, aren't we? I'll give you the latest racing car. So I went with him to the front desk, and before we even arrived, we heard Linda's voice. I really know Mr. Alex. Mr. Alex promised to invest in me. My company just needs this sum of money, and if it's saved, I can give Mr. Alex shares. Seeing her humble appearance as she begged others, I almost laughed. Alex couldn't help but laugh when he heard this. Do you think Mr. Alex is lacking your little company's shares? Does your family's company earn as much as Mr. Alex's studio? Alex already looked down on Linda, so the meaning of his words was, your company is nothing in my eyes, and I don't care about any shares. Linda, who originally had a flattering look on her face, became gloomy and cold. Then she scolded, you're just an employee of this company. You don't understand how desperately I need this investment right now. Yet you're humiliating me like this. Let Mr. Alex come out and talk to me. I want to see Mr. Alex. Alex raised his chin and looked at her with disdain. That's me. Linda's expression turned ugly. After all, she had just scolded this investor in front of her. Then she narrowed her eyes and looked at us meaningfully for a long time. Finally, her man-eating gaze fell on me, and she pointed at me. Duke, you're behind this. I thought she knew that I was the real investor. As a result, she ran towards me like a demon, baring her fangs and claws, wanting to grab me. Fortunately, she was stopped by the security guard just 1 meter away from me. Then came her collapsing and frantic voice, her eyes already bloodshot, gnashing her teeth and roaring. Duke, did you tell Alex to withdraw his investment in me? You vicious villain. You just want to force me to accept your charity, right? Everything you do makes me feel so disgusted. How can there be someone like you in this world? Her every move shocked everyone. No one expected that this seemingly sunny and beautiful woman was such an extreme person. Alex finally couldn't help it and stepped forward to slap her hard. You stupid idiot. Duke told me to invest in you under my name, and yet you're cursing her with dirty words. Everything you do makes me feel disgusted. Duke was really blind to like trash like you, a gold digger. Linda widened her eyes in disbelief after hearing this, her expression showing utter disbelief. Alex felt disgusted just looking at her and directly told the security guard to kick her out. Alex and I returned to his office. He told me about his new designs, and around 5 o'clock in the evening, he had a social engagement, so I went home by myself. As soon as I left Alex's studio, I was pulled aside by a force, and I was about to shout when my mouth was covered. After I came to my senses, I saw it was Linda. This was the first time she had taken the initiative to get close to me. If it was before my rebirth, I would have been happy for days, but now I just wanted to kick her away. The way she looked at me suddenly became affectionate. Why didn't you tell me the truth? You're the investor? I quickly pushed her away and took 2 steps back. What's the point of telling you the truth? Besides, you're the one who asked me to withdraw the investment. Why is it that when I invest in you, you're unwilling, but when other men invest in you, you're ecstatic? Linda explained anxiously. Everyone knows you like me. If I accept your investment, what will others think of me? If others invest in me, it's different. It means I ran for it myself. I looked at her with a questioning face, completely not understanding her logic. Forget it. Forget it. I was unlucky to have provoked such a woman. Linda, I used to be blind to like you. Don't appear in front of me again in the future. I really didn't want to stay for even a second longer. But she blocked my way. I looked at her expressionlessly as she struggled internally. After a few minutes, she slowly opened her mouth. I've been moved by how much you've done for me before. It's all true. The reason I rejected you is because you're very outstanding and I'm very ordinary, so I'm a little insecure. But now I've finally seen clearly. Only you will treat me unconditionally well. Duke, everything I said before was out of anger. I apologize for my angry words. So, what are you trying to express? She straightened up, smoothed her dress, and said, Duke, it was my fault before. I didn't give you a chance to let me understand you. But I've thought it through now. From today on, I want to start understanding you. I admit, every time we talked, she refreshed my perspective on the world. I couldn't help but chuckle. Then I thank you for giving me the opportunity. With that, I prepare to turn and leave. Linda stepped forward again to stop me, urgently asking, but there's a condition. You have to let Julian work at Duke's family group. Let Julian work at Duke's family group? She made this request before my rebirth, and I agreed. This laid the foundation for her to seize Duke's family group. Why? I asked, laughing in anger. She smiled and explained, don't overthink it. I only see Julian as a brother. He personally accompanied Mrs. Quinn to help my family's company, making a great sacrifice for me. So, I owe him this. Only then can I feel at ease being with you. You're using my money to repay your first love? Duke, don't be so petty. You've already got my body. Are you still afraid of not getting my heart? I rolled my eyes fiercely. Your heart? Not even a dog wants it. My words enraged Linda again. Linda cursed me for not knowing what's good for me and threatened me to wait and see that I'd get what's coming to me someday. Many people were aware of Linda's true face, so they were unwilling to invest in her. I was waiting for the day she'd give me what's coming to me. But she told Julian that he could work at Duke's family group, because that day I went to Duke's family group to find my dad. I ran into Julian queuing for an interview, bragging to other interviewees. This company's interview is very simple. Maybe we'll be colleagues in the future. He said it meaningfully, leading other interviewees to imagine. Duke's family group is hard to get into. Do you have connections? Julian proudly raised his chin. Do you know the young master of Duke's family group? He likes my first love girlfriend immensely. My first love told me that she's already taken care of it for me. Letting me work in the group, the interview is just a formality. Others were shocked. I've heard that Mr. Duke is pursuing a miss from a small company. Would he tolerate his love's first love coming to his company? Julian revealed a confident smile. You don't know how outrageous the things he's done to get my first love's affection. He'll definitely help. Otherwise, he'll be disliked by my first love. Is that so? Julian nodded. Actually, my first love doesn't like this young master at all. She only wants to get back together with me and has given me many luxury cars and watches. I listened silently, feeling a bit confused. Are there really such foolish people in this world? Showing off everywhere that they're related to someone? I looked at my dad's secretary and said, go tell him he doesn't need to interview, just pass him. Since he's so shameless, I'll crush his face into pieces. The secretary walked up to him, smiling politely. Excuse me, are you Mr. Julian? Upon hearing this, Julian bragged to the people around him. You see, I don't even need to interview now. I'm hired directly. Then he stood up and gave the secretary a smug smile. I am. The secretary remained very polite, saying, Mr. Julian, please leave. Hearing this, the smile on Julian's face immediately stiffened. He frowned and asked, aren't I going to complete the entry procedures? The secretary replied with a smile, Mr. Julian, you must have misunderstood. You did not pass Duke's family group's interview. Please leave. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding interviewees burst into laughter, hitting Julian's face hard. Julian's face immediately turned very ugly. Didn't pass the interview? How is that possible? That's impossible. Are you mistaken? Mr. Julian, please do not doubt my professional ability. Julian immediately took out his phone to call Linda. Linda, I'm at Duke's family group for an interview. Why do they say I didn't pass? Hurry over here. But unexpectedly, Linda hung up the phone directly. So I took out my phone and called her. If you don't want Linda's family to go bankrupt immediately, hurry your ass over to Duke's family group and take Julian away. Soon Linda arrived. Seeing Julian there, refusing to leave, Julian saw Linda coming and immediately grabbed her. Linda, what exactly is going on? Didn't you talk to Duke? Why did they say I didn't pass without even interviewing? Linda was a person who cared so much about face, and at this moment, being pointed at and talked about by the people around her made her feel embarrassed. So she immediately pushed Julian away, saying with dissatisfaction, "Do you think this is a company opened by my family? Let anyone in just because I want them to. I only help you so you could participate in the interview. I didn't say I could guarantee you 100% get a job at Duke's Family Group. Everything depends on ability. Don't think about someone opening a back door for you." Julian was stunned in place for several minutes before he recovered. He couldn't believe Linda would speak to him in such a tone. Julian was so angry that his whole body was shaking. He raised his hand and slapped her hard. The crisp sound clearly heard by me hiding in the corner. "Linda, you didn't say it like that when you begged me to drink with Mrs. Quinn. I let Mrs. Quinn take advantage of me for your sake, and now you're treating me like this." Linda smiled dismissively. "Didn't you get a lot of benefits from me when I had money? Look at the clothes, shoes, and watches you're wearing. Even the luxury car. Which one wasn't bought by me?" "Linda, do you know what you're saying?" Julian sneered in disappointment, his voice involuntarily raising a lot. "Did I beg you to buy them for me? Eugene Sheet, Duke, giving you money while enjoying it. You're acting and pretending to be upright. How much more noble are you than me?" "Julian, I didn't expect you to be such a vicious person." Linda pointed at his nose and cursed. "It's a good thing my mom stopped me from being with you when we were dating. Looks like my mom was right to stop me back then. If I let you into Linda's family's door, Linda's family would have been ruined by you long ago." The other onlookers began to whisper to each other. At this time, I walked over, looking at them with an indifferent expression. Linda saw me and quickly put on a flattering smile. "Duke, have you thought about what I told you last time?" I frowned and asked, "What words?" "About giving me a chance to understand you. You came out to see me because you thought it through, right? But it doesn't matter. I understand now. Only you are truly sincere to me." I said without changing my expression, "Okay, you can leave." Linda added, "Don't be angry. As long as you can change your mind, I can be with you right away. I'll only be good to you from now on." I asked with a non-smiling expression, "Are you done talking?" She nodded happily, anticipating that I would agree to her. "Then you can get lost." In the end, Linda and Julian were unceremoniously kicked out of the company by me. The two of them also had a big fight and became like strangers. In less than a week, Linda's family declared bankruptcy and owed tens of millions in debt. Linda's father jumped off a building and committed suicide. Her mother also committed suicide by turning on the gas. Linda became a pariah, dodging debt collectors all day long. I knew she was narrow-minded, and now that she had encountered such a major change, she would definitely blame my family. So, Linda was a ticking time bomb for my family. I didn't know where she was, and I didn't know when she would suddenly appear and explode. Thinking of this, I quickly called my dad. "Dad, hire more security guards recently. Don't be afraid to spend money. Our family doesn't lack that bit. And arrange more for Mom, too, to protect your safety." But I heard a noisy sound from the phone, my whole heart clenched, and I quickly went out and had the driver take me to the company. "Dad, what's going on there? Why is it so noisy?" My dad sighed deeply, his voice particularly heavy. "It's Linda. She's been squatting at the company gate, holding a knife and trying to kill me, yelling that Linda's family bankruptcy is my fault." My heart skipped a beat, and I cautiously asked, "Dad, are you injured?" He quickly said, "Don't worry, I'm not hurt at all. Fortunately, the security guards controlled her. The police are here now. Linda has been restrained, and the police are investigating and copying the surveillance footage." Knowing he was okay, I breathed a sigh of relief. Linda, truly a terrifying walking time bomb. Soon I arrived at the company. A lot of onlookers had gathered around, and there were 5 or 6 police cars parked at the entrance. I watched Linda sitting in the police car, with police officers guarding her on both sides. The current Linda was several sizes smaller. Her hair was disheveled, and she looked very pathetic. Her eyes were cold and sinister, staring straight at me, as if she wanted to skin me alive. Then I personally sent her to court. At the final trial, sitting in the defendant's seat, she was wearing the detention center's uniform. Her complexion was not good, and she looked very haggard. When the judge finished reading the verdict, which was 5 years in prison, she suddenly became agitated and said to me, "Duke, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I don't want to go to jail. Please save me. I'm willing to be with you, okay?" I coldly watched her being taken away by the police. Of course not. Did she really think she was some kind of treasure in my heart? If her values were right, being with me would have meant a bright future, but she chose the wrong path.